something I've always wanted to ask you.
Go ahead.
What's more powerful, the Diamond Cutter or the Stone Cold Stunner?
Maybe coming from a little bit of a biased perspective, but I want to say the Stunner. Just because with the Diamond Cutter, I feel like if he's not doing it from the top rope and he's just doing it in the middle of the ring, he's essentially just grabbing your neck and falling on his back. But with the Stunner, it's like the guy has his arm around, your neck and is landing on his ass. So like landing on your ass, I feel like is going to have a little bit more of like a vertical impact as opposed to the Diamond Cutter where he just kind of just guides you on the floor. Not that it doesn't hurt, but I just feel like with the Stunner, the guy's falling on his ass and is bringing your neck down with him. So that's gonna.
But you don't think it wrenches on the body more?
Like on Austin's body?
On his opponent. Well, okay. Let's say on the opponents. Like, what wrenches more on them in the matter of pain? Because you said the Stunner. I kind of say both in a sense. They're both good moves but I think the Stunner may be a little bit better just because you're getting kicked first.
Right.
Like essentially you're feeling pain in your stomach. And you're also feeling like your neck is cupped in to like
right.
a moving motion.
Right.
I always kind of found the Diamond Cutter to be kind of like how Randy improvised his RKO.
Can we talk about that? Because everyone says like, oh, it's the same thing.
No.
It honestly isn't. DDP would just grab you and he would fall. But Randy, like, he jumps, he grabs you, then he falls. It's a little bit more explosive.
Plus, I think Randy reinvented it in a sense where he can catch you out of nowhere. Like, he can come after you out of nowhere and hit you with it.
Right.
Diamond Dallas Page kind of like plants you somewhere where he wants to hit you with it.
Yeah.
Hell, as I'm watching this video,
We're
I don't think Randy's or Diamond Dallas Page ever caught someone jumping in midair to do it.
Right.
Randy has.
I know DDP's done a few where like he'll springboard you up, he'll catch you, then he'll bring you down, which Randy has done as well, but never in the vein of like turnbuckle, jump and then into the Diamond Cutter. Not that I've seen anyway.
When we were watching this video and the way I'm looking at it, it's a good move. It's still a good move. It's just, I don't know, like, I feel like there's not as much to it as a Stunner or an RKO.
That's what I'm saying.
But here's the funny thing, though. When Austin first did the Stunner, everyone was caught off guard by it.
Yeah.
Because he didn't kick you. He I think he like literally grabbed you.
Yeah. It was essentially Diamond Cutter. Where he just grabs you and just falls on his ass.
I don't know. That's always been the implication. Wonder, like, what impact?
The irony.
Wait, who was that?
It's Stardust.
Huh. Okay. You know how you brought him up. Do you think everything he's done to be the VP of his own company now, do you think he learned that from both his brother and his dad?
100%.
You don't think he learned anything from Vince or any other promoter?
Honestly, I feel like Vince was too busy sticking a gimmick on him rather than kind of guiding him through like the business side. Because it's funny you bring that up because I was watching the Dusty and the Cody promo for right before their match, the one that you had sent me where you said this kind of made me feel a little something.
Well, it was a little bit of getting like, okay, he's bringing up the tradition of wrestling, he's bringing up the Attitude Era, he's acknowledging his own era, and also like telling people, hey, this is the new era I want to bring to the wrestling business.
I mean, the thing with me is that, like, I thought about it. I'm like, it takes a lot, and I mean a lot, to put a wrestling promotion on the map. To just even start one, like you think about like the business aspect of it, the advertising aspect of it, you know, the whole thing of bringing wrestlers in, signing them to contracts, and you know, putting on shows and all that. Like, it's a lot. It's not anything simple, or else everybody would be doing it. But like the confidence that he must have had, like the light bulb that must have gone off in his head, where he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this. I'm really gonna do this. I was watching the whole thing with him getting the sledgehammer and destroying the Triple H throne, and it's like, be your own thing. Stop trying to fall back on, oh, Triple H held me down. Oh, Vince McMahon held me down. Like, okay.
Don't kill something you had no control over.
Yeah. And I mean, like, it's funny. I mean, I think if anybody, how appropriate, because I think when Cody was in WWE, if in a 2013 or a 2012, if you had told me, yeah, Cody's going to start up his own promotion in a few years' time, I don't think anybody would have believed you.
Okay. Is exactly the reaction I would have had.
But here we are. And how fitting that it's the child of Dusty Rhodes. One of the most influential guys, in front of the camera, behind the camera. I mean, I don't know if you saw that whole thing, but apparently Dusty Rhodes sent out a tweet 5 years ago saying that Becky Lynch is going to be big in 5 years. And here we are, and she's big. She was main event of Mania. So, I don't know, I think about it sometimes, I'm like, just how things work out, where these wrestlers go, and, what they decide to do. I mean, good for Cody, I'm happy. It's just, I don't want it to turn into WWE and WCW 2.0,
you don't want to see AEW versus WWE.
I wouldn't mind seeing a cross-promotional type of thing where you stick an AEW wrestler versus WWE wrestler on a StarCast. But like I told you guys before, I read somewhere that they apparently pulled out a WWE wrestler because she was going to face an AEW wrestler, and they pulled her out.
Which would have been nothing wrong with that. What would have caused the harm in interpromotional marketing?
They're giving
someone has to close the door on it always, and that's what bugs me. I think that's why. I kind of okay. So obviously, I'm still catching up to you guys.
Yeah.
But I've seen Cody, when he was, what was it? What was his name?
Stardust?
No, before that. Before he was just Cody Rhodes.
Dashing Cody?
Yes. I remember that gimmick where it's oh, I'm protecting my beautiful
paper
face.
bags.
Yeah, I'm that kind of worked in a way. It was a good gimmick because it wasn't taken away from him as a competitor. When you stuck him with his brother's gimmick, it's no, you're trying to bury the kid. The kid is so good at what if you have a passion for wrestling itself and you want to do something with it, why would you put something that is not going to work? Granted, yeah, for a little bit, it was cool to see him with Stardust. But how long until you're this isn't working, man?
I wouldn't mind if it was kind of a one and done. You don't even have to make it a Demon Finn Balor thing or a whatever where it comes out once in a blue moon.
Okay, so a one and done, you said. But would you be completely finished with it at that point?
Yeah, just put it to the side. Okay, it's something that, you make it an angle, a storyline.
Okay.
Of okay, because I'm going to be really honest, if I can be serious for a minute. I actually called it out before it happened, where I remember there was a storyline where Cody goes to Goldust, he's like, I've let you down, I'm going to find you the perfect tag team partner. And in my mind, I'm I have this whole thing already guessed out. It's going to be Cody with an alter ego, and that's going to be his partner. And long and behold, a week goes by, and here comes Stardust. Which I don't mind because I would like it. It's fine to have like a small bit in your career where you're like, you know what? Yeah, I did do that. I did put on face paint and call myself Stardust for one night. But the fact that it like, and honestly, I'm gonna be like dead serious here. I don't think anybody realized how much Cody Rhodes could have changed the wrestling business in WWE.
Like, would he have been able to project the WWE into something even bigger?
Yeah,
than what it is with his ideas.
And that's the thing is that I shudder to think that if Becky Lynch had left WWE, let's say early 2018, can you imagine her being the man elsewhere?
No, I don't think it would have worked.
Or let's say if it did, okay. WWE would have looked back and gone, we let that go? This is what we lost out on? A lot of times with these gimmicks, I feel like they catch lightning in a bottle. Like, I will always go back to this guy, Damien freaking Sandow.
Mm-hmm.
This guy had everything. He could be a face. He could be a heel. He can work the crowd. His gimmick was so distinguishable. It was so different. And the fact that it's like, you just, again, thank you, John Cena. This was back in the days when you would still bury people. John beats this guy for the Money in the Bank briefcase. And that's it. Damien Sandow just goes back to, obscurity. And, like, I think back, I'm like, this happened with Cody Rhodes where nobody realized what they had. I mean, we saw Cody Rhodes in those tag team matches, like, all that stuff that he was doing with The Shield, where he was teaming with his brother and he was going against The Shield. I'm like, you know what? That was actually really cool stuff. Like, the story was there, everything was there. But, when it came down to throwing Cody into the singles role, it just seems like they're like, nah, what can we do with this guy? Like, the roster at the time, like, you even had people like Bad News Barrett, another guy who consistently would keep on evolving himself and would change and would try to introduce a new dimension. But it was almost like, you know what, no, like that really isn't good enough.
Okay, how did you feel about Wade Barrett overall?
At first, I didn't like him when he was a part of the Nexus. I didn't really like him because he was just kind of there. But then slowly, when he became the Barrett Barrage, where he would hit you with the elbow, I really started digging him. I'm like, I like this guy. He had the cool theme music. He had the finisher of the elbow, the bullhammer. I loved it. And the feud that he had with Randy, which was really, really good. But it just seems like, I don't know, like, again, like, they threw together the League of Nations, just put those four together, and like, okay, well, we got nothing planned for you, so,
There could have been a lot more, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, the bully got his due. I want to go back to Cody real quick. Like, I think, like, because he comes from a family of wrestling, just like how Vince does, I think what it is that Vince has been in this mindset tunnel vision that, it has to be entertainment. It has to be sports entertainment. You can put entertainment into the product. Keep in mind the actual tradition of the wrestling.
Yeah. Because
essentially, we're not just watching this for the story of like, oh my God, this guy's doing this and backstage, and then he's doing this like here. That's not why we're watching it. We're watching it essentially because we're watching a match between a couple of competitors, like wrestlers.
Yeah.
They're not just superstars. They're actual guys who are who have trained their whole lives to do something they like and do something so good. But then when it's like, oh, yeah, you have the talent to wrestle, but I want to put a gimmick on you. And it's like, why can't I come up with one? No, we got a good idea. It'll work. And if you know that person can sell it, okay. Let them have the control. But then it's like, No, we're gonna tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. I'm not sure.
Well,
No. We got you. You know?
You know, I think back to even as of recent, in Super Showdown, you had Bobby Lashley versus Braun Strowman, two big guys, and they were doing leapfrogs, they were doing jumps and flips, and I'm like, holy shit, you ain't no cruiserweight. How you doing this?
Like, these guys are both like over 6'4".
They're really. I think we all forget how good these guys really are, and that's because it's like you said.
I forgot Bobby Lashley could wrestle that good. To be honest, like, because of what I've seen from in like the last year now, with like, you know, becoming a heel again, you know,
Awful
having Leo
storylines.
Rush, having exactly like.
Well, that's what I'm
forget.
saying. It diminishes the actual wrestler in there. Is that you get too focused on the gimmick where you're like, okay, bro, like, I'm tired of you, you know? We were just talking about it a little bit earlier. Bobby Lashley back in 06, 07, when he was silent, he would just come in and he would kick ass.
Or he'd say enough to where it's like, all right.
Soft spoken.
Yeah, but you're still ready to kick ass and you're proving it. So with Barrett, I thought I didn't think the same thing initially. When he first came in with the Nexus, he fit the role of a leader. Not the leader of like the League of Nations. That I was just like, really? This is, there's no need for this. This is horrible. You're burying the guy, practically. But when he was the leader of the Nexus, I thought like, okay, this guy is hardcore. He's badass. You know, this is someone you can trust to carry a team.
Yeah.
But when you don't give it enough time with the story or with like who you're working with, at one point you're just gonna be like, yeah, we got nothing for you, buddy. So we're gonna do this with you.
Around that time where Cody left, I think there's a lot of good people that they let go of. You know, there was the Damian Sandows, there was the Wade Barris, there was the Rybacks. You know, I'm so big on Ryback. I honestly feel like he could have been one of the main monsters of this modern era had he just been pushed properly.
Would you have given Ryback competition like Braun and Bobby?
Oh, for sure, 100%.
Okay.
Because that's where you don't just prove that, oh, he can defeat little guys. He can also carry, you know, a match with the big guys as well. The Samoa Joes of the world, the Braun Strowmans, the Bobby Lashleys, the Roman Reigns of the world, you know?
These types of matches to me have always brought out the better in wrestlers. For many a reason. Because, like, honestly, sometimes, like, you get a lot of quote-unquote holy shit moments. But it's not like, oh, a super magnetic blasting chair shot. Or it's not like, well, yeah, it is like going through a table. But sometimes it's like, oh, he had to do an elbow drop from high up to do it. Like we're just seeing right now with Dean Ambrose. Or like with Jeff Hardy doing a senton bomb. Or swanton bomb. Whatever the hell.
All the above.
Yeah. Like, sometimes wrestlers have to do a move just to, like, hit you with something. Hell, a spear through a fucking table of fire. Which, by the way, I just saw that WrestleMania. That was one match, like, I've seen this before. I need to watch it again now as an adult. I'm like, oh my god. Like, Edge, like, almost could have killed himself.
That's another thing, too, is that you watch some of those old school hardcore matches and you see those shots to the face. The chair shots, the ladder shots, you know, the cookie tray, you know, shots, like everything, and you're like, my goodness, you know, and you think back to Stevie Richards, and you're like, I'm personally glad that they, you know, focused away from, you know, implementing everything to be, you know, to the head.
I think particular weapons you can hit someone through the head. Obviously, a steel chair should never again be one of them.
Yeah.
I mean, I know in other promotions it's going to carry over like that. Oh, no, we'll limit it to how many times.
Yeah, at least we limit it, yeah. But only do it when it's...
Dude, like back in... Well, when was it when The Rock did that to Mick Foley?
1999. 9, yeah.
16 shots, right? You would think, as a normal human being, you should be dead.
Handcuffed.
I cringe at that.
You can hear Michael Cole is like, you know, if Mr. McMahon is back there, please come and do something. I think that was like genuinely like,
Stop. Like, you
Yeah.
need to stop this match now. If you're in the back, you're obviously like teleprompting the match.
yeah.
Like, at one point, do you like tell whoever's with you, like, hey, you know what? I gotta go outside. I gotta stop this now.
I now recall Shane McMahon actually this part's actually kind of funny. Bells will be ringing.
Yeah, but oh god.
Shane McMahon actually comes out from the back, and I don't know if that was Vince's way of like, hey, I can't go out there because at this time Vince McMahon is full blown bad guy. If
Like
he
Mr.
comes out,
McMahon.
yeah, if he comes out, it's like, why are you being sympathetic for Mick Foley? But Shane comes out and is like, okay, dude, like, all right, that's enough, you know.
Like, you've proven a point.
Yeah, probably whisper something in his ear. But I also I read that story where during the Kurt Angle versus Shane McMahon match at King of the Ring, Vince McMahon apparently wanted to call the match off on 3 different occasions. He wanted to literally step out and go.
So you saw the untold of it.
It wasn't Untold. It was something. I haven't seen the Untold yet. It was something else that I saw it in. Matches like the I Quit match and the King of the Ring match. It's like this was at a time where the business was really, really protected. Like everything was, you know. I mean, for Triple H to get in trouble because of the curtain call, like that's how in tune they were with trying to keep everything real. So, I mean, but I know for a fact, like, this wouldn't fly today. And even if it did, I think you would have, like, executives and, like, John Laurinaitis rushing outside and going, okay, we're calling the match
Like, we're
off.
done.
Yeah.
You guys can stop now.
You even saw it in a recent example during the Rey Mysterio versus Samoa Joe match where Samoa Joe starts bleeding and they're like, okay, go home, end the match. Like, that's how far we've come to the point where if there's even a little bit of blood, like, that's it. You know, like, they stop
Well,
the match.
okay, then, so bring up Ronda versus Charlotte in Survivor Series.
That was
when,
great.
When Charlotte went cuckoo bananas there. Yeah, I get it why it's great for you. But still, like, for Ronda's safety, do you think Charlotte would have gone further if she could have?
I think that was it, because that beatdown was like 6 minutes long, no?
Yeah, like, we'll say 10 minutes. I mean...
Yeah.
Like, I know you don't like her, but, like, sympathizing with her as a human, at one point are you like, stop? Or you're like, I know this can go a little further. I personally thought 2 things. One, we're in an era now where, like, it's going to stop somehow. Because you brought out officials, you brought out refs and nothing. I thought, like, Charlotte snapped to a point where it was like a softcore beating of the Attitude Era. But if this was amplified as the hardcore era, I think she could have gone further on Ronda.
I personally think that what Charlotte did is originally what was in the books for Becky Lynch to do to Ronda Rousey. Because originally the places were swapped, where it was Charlotte versus Ronda at Mania and then Becky versus Ronda at Survivor Series. But I think that if Becky Lynch had marched into Survivor Series, that's what she would have done. Was just beat her the way that that Charlotte beat up Ronda.
So do you think, okay, but Ronda won that match via DQ,
Yeah.
right? I think that match would have ended in no contest. Because I think they both
To protect Becky?
If it was Becky and Ronda,
Yeah.
I think it would have been no contest. Like, okay, not only did she lead the invasion of SmackDown versus Raw,
That was great.
but at one point, oh, and the fact that the women did it better, by the way.
Can we talk about that for a second? Tell me I'm not the only one. When I saw Becky, when her theme music hit and she's slowly walking down that ramp, I got a flashback to Steve Austin coming to save the WWF from the Alliance.
I know, yeah.
Yeah, did you get that
In a
too?
sense, like-
I think what made it was the pop of the crowd. That theme song hits and everybody's going insane. You know, it's
It's working.
That was so well executed, and I think the blood again, much like Steve Austin, helped with that moment. You know.
My thing is, it's just that, like, okay, with, like, back to that match, it's like, if it had gone no contest, it would have been Becky versus Ronda. I think it would have gone to a point where it's like, they're just going at it. Like, they don't even care who wins, because obviously no belts on the line, it's just champion versus champion. 'Cause she was the champion, SmackDown champ at the time, right?
Who was?
Becky.
Yes, yeah, she was champion.
So obviously it's just Raw versus SmackDown, but
Right.
I think at one point they would have been so in tune with each other that it's like, no, we just want to kick each other's ass.
Yeah.
I don't think Little Miss I Need to Be Protected over there would have been like, oh, I'm not losing this. Or maybe she would have.
She would have.
But that's, I think, if it was Becky doing it, Becky would push for like, oh no, you're still protected, but I'm going to kick your ass. I think Charlotte was the one that's like, no, like, you know what? You want to be protected, that's what's going to make me snap. I think that's what it was, because if you think about it, like, she went crazy for a full 6 minutes with a candlestick, and she, even though the chair was in the reverse way, she still put, what was it, her head?
Yeah.
And did she successfully stomp down?
She stomped on it, and then she did a natural selection, which beautifully, like, it was beautiful. She landed it right on the chair. But I mean, Ronda, like, she had scars and bruises on her body, so that's not stuff that you can fake.
Anymore.
But I mean, look, yeah, going back to your point, whether we like these guys or we don't, it's like the first thing that we look out for is their safety. Like, we want them to be safe, first and foremost. And I know that in the Attitude Era, like, people like the Big Show, like, even, you know, I think it was on Busted Open Radio where he's like during this time, the Attitude Era, you know, it was like, you know, if you had a headache or if you had a scar or if you weren't feeling well, they're like, dude, just suck it up and get out there, you know, put a Band-Aid on it and literally just get out there. Where now it's like they take a lot better, or I would like to assume that they take a lot better care of their superstars.
I think what it is now is just that, like, oh, you have a scar, you have a headache. It's like, all right, here, let's give you something to take care of it. If you're really not up for it at Showtime, we'll cut to a segment instead. Like, we'll shorten it enough where you're not in that much longer enduring pain later.
Right.
Which is fine, but sometimes have your plan B be a plan B.
Right.
Because honestly, some of these times it's like you can't even sell that right. Or we're fully aware that it's like, this is going to end right now. This is being sold this way. It's like, nah, what do we do? He hasn't put the handcuffs on him yet.
No. I mean, to all the viewers, we're in the middle of watching the Rock versus Mankind Royal Rumble.
99.
It's like I'm watching this match and it's like I realize, again, that's what I think is key, and I think that's why the 24/7 belt right now is so relevant, is because you're, much like in this match, they're doing a lot of stuff outside of the ring. Everything nowadays is just so confined to in the ring, ringside, and, you know, like around the ring area. Like, I personally enjoyed that Roman Reigns segment last night where he goes back, hunts down Shane, beats everybody up, brings Shane, you know, Shane tries to run away, chases him, kicks his ass, and it's like it was such a satisfying moment for me where I'm like, that good, finally, you know? As opposed to just call Shane out, let him come to the ring, Superman punch, spear. Oh, okay, he got his revenge.
Or calls him out, attempts the Superman punch, and gets knocked in the face with a fucking, what does he call it? What does Drew call it?
Claymore?
Yeah, the Claymore King. And it's like, oh, Drew's in there now. We're
Here
going to
we go.
stand over you. We're better than you. Blah, blah, blah. Like doing the typical, oh, I'm the good guy. I'm going to the ring. I'm mad at my nemesis, bad guy. Come out here. Let's fight. And it's like boring fight. It's like, really? This is a sell? No, last night it was a story. I think Vince is not producing the show right now.
I think maybe it's one of those things where he's like, okay, pal, let's see what you got. And maybe Triple H has
or
his
somebody
pulse.
else.
Yeah.
Somebody that's not Vince or Kevin Dunn.
Yeah.
Because what Kevin Dunn's now a producer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So.
People's elbow on the chair.
God.
This part is bad.
Okay, so let's recap. What was it? They're telling the story of how Drew and Shane were in the back, enjoying themselves. The party. They beat up on Heath. Roman gets aware of it. Like, you know what? I'm tired of waiting. I'm just gonna go after him.
Yeah.
Oh wait, the revival's in my way. Oh, I'm gonna take them out. Oh, you're running away from me now. Ugh.
See, he's busted there.
Okay, so that may have been the chair.
Maybe.
Okay, so Drew's in my way of Shane. Oh, I'm gonna put him through a table. First legitimate table break I saw in a while.
Now it was a satisfying spot, I will say that.
Yeah, but what are we getting? A story again. Oh, Shane's running away? Oh, hell no, I'm coming after you. Oh, we're gonna end it in the ring.
And here's the bogus.
I win. The dude's knocked the hell out. You really think he's gonna say it? Like, if you people really believed it, that dude, as a kid, I knew like he's knocked the hell out. He can't speak.
And the fact that The Rock turns around is like, and you get your monkey ass over there and get The Rock the championship. Only The Rock, dude. Only The Rock.
Do you think he watches it right now with the busy schedule?
Oh,
like Dwayne. Like, do you think Dwayne sometimes sits and watches? Because, like, obviously we've seen, I don't know if you've seen, Batista's been very vocal lately about AEW and WWE.
I was watching an interview where he's like, they're competition, but they're not legit competition. And I honestly...
Like, he acknowledges the existence of
I've
the
kind of
competitor.
been saying it. I'm like, look, unless you get to a point where you're providing weekly program, because everybody...
It's coming in October.
It's coming, but who knows? It comes in October, and then by the 7th week, they're falling flat on their face. Because it's very, very easy to put one show out once every 6 months and go, we're doing a good job. It's like, yeah, you're doing a good job once every 6 months, but weekly, every single week, having something to go. So, someone asked me, and I've said this before, are they going to put WWE out of business? No. But are they going to provide really good competition? Are they going to allow for WWE to raise the volume a little bit? 100%.
You need a strong team, though. Every good show has always had a good director, good producers, writers, everything.
NXT.
That's the best team I've seen. Right
You got Triple H, who's the head guy. You got Matt Bloom and Shawn Michaels. You have all the head coaches at the Performance Center. I mean, it's like the guy has his team stacked. And I don't know if you watched the Triple H special, Destruction and Construction.
Is that his special?
That's his. It's not 24, but it's like a 20-minute special.
Okay.
And the guy is busy. Like, bless the guy. He even makes time to go to the gym and all that. Bless the guy. He's busy as hell. But I think Triple H, it's like you and I said, maybe somewhere in 2011, I think Triple H slowly dropped that shovel and said,
no, I think, okay. His handle on the shovel started to loosen up in 06, like I told you earlier, off air. When he reformed DX, he wasn't in a title hunt. He was just having fun again. Like, granted, yeah, eventually, like, it still kicked into him. Like, no, I'm the main event still. I'm still.
Is he still handcuffed?
Yeah. Oh, no,
No, thank God. I was gonna say uncuff the poor bastard. And he's moving. He's literally getting up.
Oh, they brought a bucket of ice water for him. Like, just put the mask in it.
He's probably not even.
Ah, Teddy.
Theodore.
Oh.
Oh shit.
Anyways, back to my
Yeah.
around that time, I said, this is what I said. I said he was loosening his grip on the shovel. And it wasn't like, oh, I'm going to completely bury people. Because honestly, he did have good rivalries.
Yeah.
After that. Like, yeah, he went back to DX. And yeah, he still wanted to be the main event guy. But he had a good rivalry with Edge. He had a good rivalry with Randy.
What year are you talking?
Like, between, like, 07 to 11. And hell, in the PG era, we got two of the greatest WrestleMania matches between him and The Undertaker.
Well, if you look at it from a DX perspective, we got 4 years of great WrestleMania matches.
Oh, yeah. Oh, always. And my thing with that, by 11, was that the year they did the shoot with Vince being too old?
Yeah, where they're like, you are relieved of your duties.
With the whole...
The strike. Yeah.
Okay. So, obviously, who wants the shovel? Not many people were grabbing it so immediate because it's like, no, we want to do things the legitimate way. But yeah, we kind of like the power that shovel hands us. What is this, by the way?
Chair shots.
Oh, no. Oh, man.
In the spirit of hardcore, we're just going through random YouTube
Dude,
pictures.
you know who I recently saw can throw a vicious chair shot from ECW? Balls Mahoney.
And he can take one, too.
That's why he's dead. Rest in peace. No, he died of something else, though.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
But still, the guy could take a chair shot like no one's business.
You know what probably one of the scariest ones is the one that The Rock gave Ken Shamrock?
Oh, the one where he's like
on his knees and he's like... And not like... And he even like... He tucks his head in like... As in like, go, hit me.
But The Rock like swung it like a baseball bat, though.
I think The Rock is another guy who could swing a steel chair, as we saw.
But back to the main point, well, there's many main points in this episode. But I think what it is just that Triple H at that point is not saying like, oh, I'm handing over the shovel because you're the guy. I want to see who can step up to me.
Yeah.
And be better than me at what I did or as good as me. And granted, unfortunately, it was John Cena at the time. With his own shovel.
Yeah.
Mind you. I think no one has ever gotten to a point like Triple H. To be like, okay, I was this guy. I was an asshole. But I love this company enough that it's like, I gotta start giving back to what's been given to me. Hence, what was it? Florida what?
Florida's Championship Wrestling?
Yeah. Once that got shut down, he's like, that's perfect for me to create what I've wanted as far as like an ideal wrestling gym. Where, like, obviously he had been telling those stories to his friends for many years when he was very young, like, oh, this is how I would do things. This is how I would run my business and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And I think because, yeah, granted he literally has a hold of a key to the kingdom.
Yeah.
Because he married Stephanie.
Okay, can we talk about that for a second?
Okay. You have a gripe about that?
This whole thing of the only reason why Triple H is where he is because he married Stephanie. The only reason why Triple H got everything that he ever got was because of Stephanie. The only reason why Triple H has all this success is because of Stephanie. What do you think of that?
I think it's bullshit. It's BS.
All of it or a big chunk of it?
Half of it.
Okay.
And even half of it. Why? Yes, he was granted a lot of matches he didn't deserve to be in. Yes, he was... No offense, but I think the truest 16-time champion will always be Ric Flair.
Yeah.
Triple H, most of those were gimmies to you. You were given most of those opportunities. And to me, it's like, didn't really deserve all of them. You know what I'm saying? But, half the stuff he did on his own.
Yeah.
He earned on his own terms, like, okay, I gotta sell this rivalry with you. Okay, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. Or I gotta do this gimmick for a while. Alright. Do I have to suffer the consequences of MSG? Yeah. And he took it like a champ.
He was the only one who took it.
Shawn got pardoned. Obviously, Nash and Scott were long gone to get punished. So was X-Pac. Because even though he wasn't there, he was still a part of, like...
Yeah, the clique.
Uh-huh. So who had to pay the ultimate price? Hunter. But he proved along that time, like, no, I belong here. But then, like I said, some stuff he earned, some stuff he deserved. Other stuff was literally like, oh, but he's my husband. Okay, fine, I'll give him another title match. He can face Shawn Michaels. Shawn deserved more than one World Heavyweight Championship.
I've always said it, one of the biggest injustices for me personally as a fan is that Shawn Michaels retired in 2010, and only his last title run was in 2002. I thought he could have had one more, just one more.
Thinking, I would have put the U.S. Championship on him for a while. Give him the gimme belt.
I thought he could have gone over John Cena in 2007 during the WrestleMania match.
Clearly he could have. I would have been like, hello? But no, who had their hand on the shovel? Bastard.
Because my whole thing, like, bringing up Triple H is like...
Yeah, speaking of which. Only with Triple H.
Yes, a lot of people say, oh, he married the boss's daughter. Yes, he did. But I now look at it, I'm like, Triple H has the worst WrestleMania win-loss record.
He does, actually. So does Shawn. Yeah. Shawn has a bad one, but Triple H is...
Triple H is like 14-7?
14 losses, 7 wins?
Something like that. And I think about it, and Triple H brought up a good point. He's like, my first championship happened before I married Stephanie McMahon, so bite me. And I mean, it's like, okay, let's just say for a second that Triple H buried a whole bunch of talent. Okay. But look at what he's doing now. Look at I feel like whatever opportunity that he took away from others, he gave back.
He's trying to give back
to the new crop. Like, hey, nobody else is going to put a camera and a spotlight on you. Here you go. NXT, Mae Young Classic, 205 Live, NXT TakeOver. It's like this guy has gone above and beyond for all the fans. And as of recent, he's been liking all the tweets of when people have been saying Vince McMahon needs to quit, Triple H needs to take control. He's literally liking the tweet, and apparently he and Vince now are kind of in a scuffle. They say that the one guy who's the most disgusted each and every single night on a Raw or SmackDown taping is Triple H.
He has to endure the show. He has to endure watching what he kind of headlined for most of, the 2000s.
And if you think about it, a lot of the roster now is NXT superstars. So to Triple H, it's like, well, I give these guys a platform, they develop, they become larger than life.
And you just take it away by burying them into non-existence again.
It's like, then what's the point? Why am I even doing what I'm doing? So...
we're not saying Triple H needs to run his own thing.
No, he needs to run his own thing.
No, he needs to run the
thing.
The company already. I mean... Is this another one? Yeah,
I think this is part 2.
Jesus.
Austin is another one, by the way, who can swing a chair.
Watching Sabu
The ones where he just throws it, he doesn't even swing it, he just throws it.
But his dead aim accuracy to your head is scary. He was always good at it. I just think like Triple H has given more than enough to the company where it's like, why can't we just give him
his due?
Yeah. Like, yeah, he knows what he's done. Obviously, he had to like regress most years.
Yeah.
But now he's at a point where it's like, no, I am going to do what I can to build something better for the future of this sport, of this entertainment company. Okay, can I think can we talk about something that we can end it on?
Yes.
Are you personally tired of calling it sports entertainment and not just wrestling? Because like I said, you can still have entertainment, you can still have stories, you can still have, build up of stuff, but it's like, oh, we have superstars, we have sports entertainers. Like, I kind of feel like Paul Heyman in a way.
How so?
That you can't call them wrestlers. They're sports entertainment. They're sports entertainment.
I will say this. I think AEW is kind of doing this as well, where they're not wrestling, they're all elite wrestling. I think that this is Vince's way of like trying to stifle something to make it his own. Like, we've seen the DDPs of the world, we've seen the Goldbergs of the world who come into the WWE, and Vince morphs them into WWE-esque. Do I get tired of calling it that, like it's sports entertainment? I usually don't call that, I just call it wrestling.
Okay.
And I call them wrestlers. I don't call them.
Thank you.
I say superstars just out of reflex because you hear it all the time. Like, ladies and gentlemen, WWE superstar Sheamus. Like, it comes out,
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, like, to me, like, I think to everyone it's wrestling. Like, you got a ring with two guys in it doing suplexes and body slams. It's wrestling.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Why has it been like?
To me, it's been getting
too much?
Yes, because it's like, these sports entertainers are doing everything for the WWE universe. Like, they're not entertainers. They come in as wrestlers. Their first passion is wrestling.
Yeah.
That's what they've trained their whole life to do. And then it's like, you're in NXT. Oh, I'm still a wrestler.
NXT superstars.
Yeah, but you're still wrestling.
I think that now, especially with social media, it's like they find it's another way of like WWE superstar, sports entertainment. At any time when they even have like social media training where it's like they teach them how to talk and what words to use, what not to use, and what to say, what not to say. But yeah, like it just like it never like comes to my mind where it's like I need to call this sports entertainment. I just honestly I either call it wrestling or I call it entertainment. I don't call it sports entertainment.
Okay. I don't know, because sometimes it's like I hear the term so much and it's like, they're wrestlers though.
It's kind of like Michael Cole plugging something once every 2 seconds, like on commentary.
He's been getting very like stagnant to me.
Honestly, I've never had a problem with Michael Cole.
No, neither have I, but it's just I feel like you can hear it in his voice sometimes, like, the shows only go so long, guys.
Yeah.
It needs to improve, guys. Come on. Like, even Michael Cole knows it.